would say to you, however, for legitimate fight purposes, Gervonta Davis, to me, is the #1 attraction in boxing. He's the #1 attraction in boxing. He will finish you.
Sports Stephen A. Smith recently grabbed attention after claiming that Gervonta Davis possesses such devastating power that he could potentially knock out Shakur Stevenson in the very first round.
You thought that you could lean on the ropes and ultimately counter Tank. No. Ladies and gentlemen, you do not do that to Gervonta Tank Davis. If you got the power...
I haven't seen you this hyped in a long time.
Listen, Gervonta Davis is the real deal.
I'm surprised you weren't
You got to be in the middle of the ring.
Yep.
Or in the rope. If you're going to be on the ropes, you want to be in the middle. You don't want to be in one of the corners. Not against Tank,
I just want you to know.
Not against Tank. That's what Tank did. We talk about wobble. You ain't never wobbled me and walked right across the ring. I'm not talking about round 2, 3, 4, whatever. I'm talking about opening bell. He walked right across the ring and said, I'm right here. Wobble me.
Backing that view, Eddie Hearn explained that Shakur Stevenson would depend on his intelligence and defensive skills against Gervonta Davis, controlling the fight with accuracy. But a single punch from Tank could instantly change everything.
I think I don't know how good the fight will be, but I think Shakur is, again, like pound for pound, IQ-wise, I think he's even up there with a Terrence and those kind of guys, you know. I think the difference with Boots is he's got the defensive mastercraft and he also has the aggressive power to turn your lights out, and I think that's quite different. Do you know what I mean? Like Shakur, I say defensive. I think that's a bit harsh on Shakur, but he's not a huge puncher, but defensively and skill-wise, he's right up there.
Roy Jones Jr. stated that Shakur Stevenson has the advantage because of his discipline, but he also pointed out that Gervonta Davis possesses the natural talent needed to defeat him.
Shakur wins it because of his discipline, because he showed against Teofimo they can stay very disciplined all night. And he's the type of guy, he don't really do a lot of crazy stuff in his life normally. So it's like discipline is a thing that is not only exercised inside the ring, it's exercised also outside the ring. And as we see, sometimes Gervonta has problems with discipline. But we have never seen Shakur have problems with discipline. We've seen him be more disciplined at the right times than we've seen him not have discipline. So with the fight being like it is right now, I would lean towards Shakur because of his discipline, but don't get it twisted. If somebody could beat him, Tank Davis would be that person because of his intent.
Shakur Stevenson claimed he's a bigger attraction than Gervonta Davis and said that a victory would establish him as the face of the division.
But Tank is disciplined and got his mind on right. Tank is a problem for anybody. Because Tank can fight better than most people think he can. It's just that sometimes his outside antics get the better of him and it makes people think less of him, but don't underestimate Tank Davis. If Tank is motivated and ready to fight, Tank is a problem for anybody.
I'm the guy. I'm the guy that's gonna put asses in seats, the views, everybody gonna tune into my fights. If we could act like it was the A side of this fight just because you got the belt.
Yeah.
Let's pretend because you got the belt, and I'm coming to challenge you for your belt.
That's what it is right now.
But truthfully, is he the A side?
Like
I'm the bigger fighter, bro. I'm
yes.
the guy, bro. Like, I'm the guy, and after I beat him, bro, I'm the face, bro.
Shakur Stevenson suggested he's entering the fight on another level, expressing confidence that fans will witness a more refined and improved version of himself on fight night.
This one of them kind of fights where it's like, I remember people watched me with Jamel Herring, and they felt as though I was the best fighter in the world then. So I think that's gonna be what comes Saturday night. I think they're gonna get that version of me, but 10 times.
And now, Jamal Herring has responded, saying Shakur Stevenson has already proven his worth and deserves to be mentioned alongside Gervonta Davis.
You can't be selective, but then say Shakur Stevenson ain't do nothing. That's what I'm just speaking as just a fan. You know what I mean? Like Shakur, the 3-time, 3-divisional world champion, unified world champion. So, he's done something, you know what I mean? And he's done something enough to where if people are bringing him up to you, it's obviously because people want to see the fight. It's not like they bringing up, a nobody. It's like, or somebody coming up in the rankings. And it's like, what have they done? But it's like, this is somebody who, y'all in the same weight class. Y'all both hold, one of the major 4 world titles in the sanctioning bodies.
However, Kenny Ellis dismissed the noise, saying opinions will always be divided between Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson. He made it clear that simply the nature of boxing. If the fight happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, the debate will continue.
Go all day with that, and you're going to have Gervonta fans and you have Shakur fans. That's the sport.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Don't let it stress you out. This shit is crazy. If they fight, they fight. If they don't, well, they don't, you know?
Shakur Stevenson said he's already decoded Gervonta Davis, claiming he knows exactly what to expect and believes he operates on a completely different level. He added that his versatility lets him adapt to any style, confident he can dictate the fight entirely on his terms.
Right, and this is why he's not gonna be able to beat me. He got one style that he can do. So I know what he's bringing. I know what he's coming with. He's coming straight in, coming straight ahead at me to throw non-stop punches the entire night. There's nothing different that he's going to do. I'm levels above him because I know that I can do whatever I want. So it depends on what I decide to do that night and how I want to go in there and fight. You know, sometimes I fight in the pocket. Sometimes I move a little tiny bit, but it depends on how I want to fight that night.
Shakur Stevenson made it clear he's pursuing the biggest fight in boxing against Gervonta Davis, saying everyone already knows what he wants. He continued to push for the matchup, leaving no doubt about his target. Finally,
what's next? I told you I want the biggest fight in boxing. Yeah. Y'all already know what I want, so let's make it happen.
Shakur Stevenson said he's always had respect for both Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney as top-level fighters over the years. However, he made it clear that he has always believed he stands above them. He added that even if they don't say it publicly, deep down, they know it too.
Yeah, I felt like them guys was hell of a fighters. Through the years, I done gave these guys credit. But when it really come down to it, I always knew I'm the one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I always knew. And I feel like deep down, like, they probably won't say it, but they know.
Shakur Stevenson made it clear he's ready to face Gervonta Davis, saying that if there's any dispute, it should be settled in the ring. He challenged Davis to sign the contract and step into the spotlight in front of millions of fans.
Now, I got you, but like I said, if any fighter have an issue with me, because I feel like Tio was jealous of me. I told him this several times. Any fighter have any issue with me,
let's do it.
Sign the contract, turn the lights on bright, let millions come around the seats to see what's happening and pull up on me.
Meanwhile, Timothy Bradley pointed out the criticism surrounding Gervonta Davis, noting that many have questioned his record and the quality of opponents he's faced. He also raised doubts about how much credit Shakur Stevenson would truly earn for defeating Davis, suggesting the payoff might be more financial than reputational.
You know, you already know the perception of Tank by many of the boxing pundits, and it's the fans of boxing. You know, you already know how they feel about Tank Davis when it comes to, you know, I hear people talk about his resume. I hear people talking about, well, he's only one division champion. He really only won one belt. You know, the guys that he's faced, you know, he hasn't faced a top tier elite fighter, so on and so forth. So with that being said, why even want to entertain the fight with Tank Davis? I mean, how much credit are you going to really get, Shakur, besides the money, right?
Timothy Bradley advised Shakur Stevenson to stop pursuing Gervonta Davis so aggressively, warning it could make him appear desperate. He emphasized that Stevenson has immense skill and value in the sport, and that focusing too much on a single fight could damage his image and weaken his negotiating power.
But I would advise, man, you, leave Tank alone, man, for real. No need to keep beating on a dead horse, man. You know, you too skilled. You know, you got too much value for the sport. You got too much value for, you know, the sport of boxing and your career, man. And, you know, it just doesn't look right you chasing a guy. You know, you call him out once, you know, maybe twice, but then after that, bro, like, hey, let it go. Let it go. Now you looking desperate. You know, now you looking like you need him. And on top of that, you putting a price tag, if you were to fight him, on yourself.
Additionally, former professional football tight end Shannon Sharpe said that Gervonta Davis represents the biggest payday and legacy fight for Shakur Stevenson, while Chad Johnson noted that Lamont Roach Jr. would provide a more technical, strategic challenge. Stevenson agreed, calling Roach underrated and even suggesting he had done enough to defeat Davis despite the controversial missed knockdown call.
Tank is the money fight. You know, not only will that help cement your legacy at the lightweight division, I think that's the fight, Shakur, that's going to pay you the most money.
I think Tank is the money fight, but the fight that would interest me the most, the one I think would be the best chess match, would be Brother Roach.
I think that Lamont is very underrated. I'm glad because a lot of people don't realize how good he really is.
You know, a lot of people think that Lamont actually beat Tank in that fight. What do you think?
I do. I think Lamont won. I think Lamont won 7-5, 8-4, even without the
Without the knockdown?
Yeah, without the knockdown. That shit.
Shakur Stevenson stated that Gervonta Davis, Lamont Roach Jr., and Andy Cruz are the most competitive fights at lightweight. He emphasized that he prefers facing the toughest and most skilled opponents, viewing these matchups as the pinnacle of competition within the division.
Tank, Lamont, lightweight. I like Andy Cruz. I'm a competitor, so I like the best fights and the most competitive fights. So I think them guys is more so the three most competitive.
Shakur Stevenson explained that his relationship with Gervonta Davis shifted once he became a genuine threat, saying the respect between them turned into tension as his reputation grew. He added that Davis started taking subtle jabs publicly, which he felt were unnecessary, and it seemed like Davis didn't want anyone else reaching his level.
When I first was around him, he was showing a lot of love, and then once I became a threat, is where like everything switched over. Once like people started talking about me and my name started getting bigger, then it was like I'll go fight and I'll get on Twitter and he'll like post, oh, he did that because it was a cab driver, or he'll just post some like hating ass shit, to where like it was unnecessary to go do that. Cause like I thought we was like cool type shit. But now he like flipped it to turn it like I did something to him and he made it so believe that, but nah, that could just, I think like in his brain it's just one person and nobody else could be up here.
Turning back to Roy Jones Jr., he praised Shakur Stevenson as an exceptionally skilled fighter with excellent footwork, but noted that he sometimes drifts too far out of range, which can limit his ability to counter effectively. He explained that this tendency is especially apparent against heavy punchers and suggested it might make some of Stevenson's fights appear less thrilling to fans.
Shakur Stevenson is a very good fighter, but he got to learn, and I will hope he will pay attention to this because this is going to mean a lot for him. His feet are good, but sometimes they take him too far out of range to be able to come back and counter. The last guy he fought, the guy was a good puncher, so when he was jumping back, he was jumping too far back out of range to where he couldn't come back and get something right away. You understand me? And for the fans, it starts to look boring.
Jones acknowledged that Gervonta Davis demonstrates elite discipline, carefully setting up his punches with perfect timing and precision. He explained that Davis studies openings meticulously before committing, striking only when absolutely certain. Jones compared him to a chess player in the ring, always thinking multiple steps ahead, and noted that this calculated strategy makes Davis one of the most dangerous fighters in boxing.
Do you agree with that? Of course I agree with that because he shows discipline. Discipline enough to have, he got enough shock on his punch, but he knows how to set the punch up before he does it. He's patient enough to set it up before he does it. He looks at it a few times to make sure he got it. When you know he got it, boom, he get it. That's a real chess player in the boxing ring. That's the most deadly kind of guy in the world besides a Mike Tyson type guy in boxing. A guy that can play chess in that boxing ring is a killer.
Shakur Stevenson's critical role of discipline and pacing in the ring. He noted that, unlike Frank Martin early or get pulled into unnecessary exchanges, because once fatigue sets in, a powerful opponent like Gervonta Davis will exploit it. Stevenson emphasized that staying calm, following a smart game plan, and controlling distance are essential for surviving and potentially winning against someone with Tank's knockout power.
It was a professional versus an amateur. Frank Martin lost the fight in round one. When Tank walked out and made him do exactly what he wanted him to do, he lost the fight. Frank went out there and just wasted a lot of energy in the first 3 or 4 rounds. And by round 5, round 6, especially with the weight problems that he was having. He got tired, and once he got tired, his ball game tanked, lined him up, and got rid of him.
Gervonta Davis's training camp centers on explosive power and pinpoint precision. Every session is designed to deliver fight-ending punches, with long hours spent on the heavy bag and mitts, honing his timing and ensuring each combination is lightning fast, razor sharp, and truly dangerous.
Come on, both sides. Okay, 2 jabs. That's it. 1, 2, big boy. No hook here. Let's get it. Come on. Hey. That's it. Too short. Roll. Yeah. Get out of there. Put it again, huh? Right hand, left hand hook. That's the judge. No, 1, 2, hold on. Now hold.
His goal goes beyond simply outboxing opponents. He aims to land punches that can instantly turn the tide of a fight. Tank's sparring sessions are intense and fiercely competitive, crafted to mimic real fight pressure. He focuses on reading opponents, setting traps, and delivering devastating counters with pinpoint accuracy. At the same time, his conditioning is pushed to the limit, ensuring he can maintain peak power and explosiveness from the opening bell all the way through the final round without ever slowing down. As the fight draws near, his camp intensifies, blending precision technique with peak physical conditioning. By the time Tank steps into the ring, he's not just ready to win rounds, he's primed to dominate, dismantle his opponents, and deliver a finish worthy of highlight reels.
That's it. Roll hook. Roll. 6 again. Roll hook. Roll left hand. Roll. Step out. Stop it, chicken. There you go. Under. That's it. Push that top one. Roll.
On the other side, Shakur Stevenson's training camp for a potential clash with Tank Davis would be equally intense, but highly strategic. Every session would focus on defense, timing, and precision to neutralize Tank's devastating knockout power. Stevenson would drill footwork, counterpunching, and distance control relentlessly, ensuring he avoids big shots while exploiting every opening. Sparring in Stevenson's camp would mimic Tank's explosive style, featuring high-intensity rounds designed to prepare him for sudden power punches and relentless pressure. The goal of Shakur's camp would be to enter the ring fully disciplined, mentally sharp, and physically prepared to neutralize Gervonta's devastating power. Every session focuses on perfecting his technical skills, maintaining a strategic approach and ensuring he can not only withstand Tank's offense but also impose his own game plan to control the fight from start to finish. If the rumored showdown between Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson actually happens, it promises a clash of two elite styles, Tank's explosive knockout power versus Shakur's technical mastery and precision. Fans are already debating who has the edge, and every training update only fuels the hype. The big question remains, can Shakur outbox and outsmart Tank's raw power, or will Tank's relentless aggression and knockout ability decide the fight early? Who do you think will have the strategy to dominate when the bell rings? If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for all the latest updates, training insights, and fight predictions. Stay tuned. When these two finally meet in the ring, it's going to be epic.